Hello and welcome back to Travel in Chinese. My name is Mark Rosewell, better known as Dashan. One thing that many travelers are interested in buying when they come to China are antiques. With China's rich cultural history, there's much to choose from, but you have to be careful about fakes. That is, of course, unless you're looking for a reproduction in the first place. After all, many antiques are extremely expensive, and there are many restrictions on taking certain types of antiques out of the country. But no matter what, there's something for everyone at an antiques market in China. Today we're going with Xuemei to one of the largest antiques markets, 旧货市场 in Beijing. Let's see what she buys.
这个地方你来过吗？
这是第一次，同学给我介绍的。
别说啊，这个旧货市场还挺大的。
我们那儿有个同学啊，隔一段时间就来这儿看看。
那是个花瓶吧？
像是新的，顶多20年。
20年也好，200年也好，好看就行。我想买回去，摆在客厅里。
我们可以一会儿再回来买，要不还得拿着，挺沉的。这个小柜子是用什么做的？
红木的，真正的红木的，是我们祖上传下来的，少说也有400-500年。
400-500年，清朝的？
明代的，你看看这做工，只有明代的家具才有这么精细。
多少钱你能出手
？10万。
太贵了吧？
这是我们家传下来的宝贝，一直都舍不得卖。
我们再考虑考虑吧。
我看还是去买一点小东西，大的太贵了，而且也不容易往回带。
你以为东西个儿小就便宜呢？有的也贵着呢。
这我知道，上次你不是帮我买了个天价笔筒吗？白高兴了一场，原来还是个假古董。
那件事儿你就别提了，不能老往人伤口上撒盐呐。
到那边看看吧，那儿都是小东西。
好吧，
谢谢你。
谢谢啊。
好，再见。
再见。
再见。来这儿的乐趣啊，就是淘宝，挺便宜的买一件东西，拿回去一看，古董。
这可不容易，那得有孙悟空的火眼金睛才行。
你快看看，那边好像有卖笔筒的。
又是笔筒。
Okay, let's go over today's dialogue part by part. Today, Liu Yong and Xuemei are visiting a 旧货市场, an antique market in Beijing. Now, real antiques would be 古董, but a 旧货市场 would also include second-hand products, collectibles, and memorabilia that may not be considered antique. It's a fun place to hunt around. After all, one man's junk might be another man's treasure. Liu Yong has a classmate who 隔一段时间就来这儿看看, comes here to look around every once in a while. 隔 is to be separated, apart. 隔一段时间 from time to time, once in a while.
这个地方你来过吗？
这是第一次，同学给我介绍的。
别说啊，这个旧货市场还挺大的。
我们那儿有个同学啊，隔一段时间就来这儿看看。
They then see what looks like Ming Dynasty furniture, 明代的家具. Now, the Ming Dynasty ended in 1644, so this would be several hundred years old if it's genuine. Hongmu is a type of mahogany, a very beautiful dark wood. Traditional Chinese furniture is often made with hongmu, 真正的红木, real mahogany, not just a mahogany stain or veneer. The salesperson explains, 只有明代的家具才这么精细. Only Ming Dynasty furniture shows such fine workmanship. 精细 is meticulous or fine. Here it refers to the craftsmanship. He introduced the piece by saying, 这是我们家传下来的宝贝. It was passed down in my family.
这个小柜子是用什么做的？
红木的，真正的红木的，是我们祖上传下来的，少说也有400-500年。
400-500年，清朝的？
明代的，你看看这做工， 只有明代的家具才有这么精细。
多少钱你能出手
10万，
太贵了吧？
这是我们家传下来的宝贝，一直都舍不得卖。
Let's buy something smaller, says 雪梅. Smaller things will be easier to carry and cheaper too. 你以为东西个儿小就便宜呀？有的也贵着呢。You think smaller things will be cheaper? Some are really expensive. We learned 以为 in a previous lesson to mistakenly think something. In today's lesson, we're going to talk more about adjective plus 着呢 as a way of emphasizing something. 贵着呢, really expensive. 雪梅 reminds him of the 天价笔筒, the priceless pen holder. 白高兴了一场, you were fooled into being happy for a short time. 白 plus a verb indicates that the action was in vain. 白高兴 to be happy without good reason. Why? 原来还是个假古董. It was a fake after all.
我看还是去买一点小东西，大的太贵了，而且也不容易往回带。
你以为东西个儿小就便宜呢？有的也贵着呢。
这我知道，上次你不是帮我买了个天价笔筒吗？白高兴了一场，原来还是个假古董。
刘墉 responds, 不能老往人伤口上撒盐呐。You can't always put salt in other people's wounds. Put salt in a wound. 伤口上撒盐. This expression is the same in English and Chinese. Now the fun thing about antique markets is that you can 淘宝, hunt for treasure. 淘 is to sift through, like panning for gold. 淘金. You might find something very cheaply, and then 回去一鉴定, 古董, have it appraised and discover it's an antique. But to do that, you might need 孙悟空的火眼金睛, the magic vision of 孙悟空, the Monkey King. One of his special abilities was to see the true nature of men and beasts, no matter what their disguise. 眼睛 are eyes. 火眼金睛, eyes of fire and gold. Okay, let's go back over this part.
那件事儿你就别提了，不能老往人伤口上撒盐呐。
到那边看看吧，那儿都是小东西。
好吧，
谢谢您，
谢谢啊，
好，再见。
再见。
再见。来这儿的乐趣啊，就是淘宝，挺便宜的买一件东西，拿回去一看，古董。
这可不容易，那得有孙悟空的火眼金睛才行。
你快看看，那边好像有卖笔筒的。
又是笔筒。
Let's take a bit of a break from the language lesson. You know, when you come to China, you really must check out the antiques markets. But the most important thing to remember is buyer beware. Most of the antiques you see may be reproductions. Of course, sometimes there's nothing wrong with buying a reproduction. For example, the real terracotta warrior statues are priceless and literally are not for sale at any price. Other authentic antiques would not only be incredibly expensive, but in many cases are illegal to buy and sell, and restricted from taking out of the country. As a general rule, any authentic antique over 100 years old cannot be taken out of the country unless it has an official seal of approval from the National Government Department responsible for cultural artifacts. Now, 古董 are antiques of any kind. 文物 are cultural relics, and these are protected by law. But still, there's lots of treasures to be found in an antique market. For example, you'll find many items from the early years of the People's Republic of China, like statues and badges of Chairman Mao. There are also many items from pre-liberation times, 1911 to 1949, like the stamps and currency used during the Republic of China years, or even from the time of Yuan Shikai. He was a person who tried to establish a new imperial dynasty. These coins, silver coins, are called Yuan Datou because they show a large bust of Yuan Shikai. You can also find traditional items like snuff bottles, 鼻烟壶. These markets will also often have modern productions of traditional Chinese arts and crafts, like calligraphy, 书法, or traditional Chinese painting, 国画. Now let's take a look at one of the language points that came up in today's dialogue. 舍不得, to not be able to do something, to not bear to do something, or to be unable to bring oneself to do something. For example, 这件衣服我一直舍不得穿. I've never been able to bring myself to wear this piece of clothing. Perhaps it's too precious. The person doesn't dare to wear it. 这件衣服我一直舍不得穿. Here's another example. 他舍不得离开他的中国朋友. He can't bear to leave his Chinese friends. 他舍不得离开他的中国朋友. Let's go back to the dialogue and see how they used 舍不得.
这是我们家传下来的宝贝，一直都舍不得卖。
Now let's take a look at some of the grammatical patterns that came up in today's dialogue and do some substitutions. For example, A 也好, B 也好, something else. No matter whether A is true or B is true, something else. No matter A or B. For example, 刮风也好,下雨也好,他每天都坚持跑步. No matter whether it's windy or whether it's raining, he persists with running every day. He runs every day no matter what. 刮风也好,下雨也好,他每天都坚持跑步. Okay, let's try some substitutions now with A 也好, B 也好.
有时间也好，没时间也好，我一定要去一趟上海。
有时间也好，没时间也好，我一定要去一趟上海。
你同意也好，不同意也好，我都要这么做。
你同意也好，不同意也好，我都要这么做。
Here's another useful pattern. 只有 something 才 something else. This indicates that there's a condition. This has to be true, or else that can't be true. This has to happen for that to happen. For example, 只有到了北京，你才能吃到地道的烤鸭. You can only have authentic Peking duck if you come to Beijing. 只有到了北京，你才能吃到地道的烤鸭. Okay, let's try some substitutions now with this pattern.
只有去那个商店，我才能买到喜欢的东西。
只有去那个商店，我才能买到喜欢的东西。
只有提前预定，你才能买到打折的机票。
只有提前预定，你才能买到打折的机票。
再考虑考虑, think about it a little. Because in the end, you might find out, 原来是个假古董. It was a fake antique after all. Well, that's it for the antique market. Next time, we're going with Xue Mei to buy some traditional Chinese-style clothing. See you then. 再见.